Welcome to the Pit Village podcast. Today we've got another interview. It's Tom Balmont. And essentially the guy runs is it a marketing firm? Is it a marketing agency? Is it Puppet? So he creates videos online, essentially on LinkedIn for companies, from what I understand, and just engaging audience, telling stories with puppets. So Tom, thank you once again for your time. Should we delve into the earlier you, like how did your career start first and foremost, and then perhaps we can get into the puppets and how that came about.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so pre-COVID, I suppose, is the best place to start. I was a street performer at Covent Garden,
Right.
and I'd ride a 7-foot unicycle and entertain the crowds of people, and
Wow.
it was lovely. And that was my job. And then COVID happened and lockdown, and then I started up the puppetry business, but it was still kind of performing. So my background has always, I think the first time I performed, I was like, I was 11 and I did a kid's birthday party. Wow. But I've always been a performer and I've always enjoyed writing jokes and being funny.
Yeah.
And it's kind of grown out of that. What I do now, really. But so my background is self-employed, but as a street performer, and I've traveled the world with that when you could travel the world.
Wow.
And
so that was just straight off the bat, was it? Straight out of school, or how did that come about?
Well, I kind of I had like an interest. I grew up watching Paul Daniels and had this interest in magic, and I thought that was brilliant. And started doing shows, and I got some birthday parties when I was a lot younger, and then I kind of went to I got to like 15, 16, and I was like, oh, you know what, as great as this is, I need kind of a more regular income. So I started in after school care for the local council for kids, and which was good fun, and I kind of wanted more, and I left that, and I ended up working at a call center, which was horrendous. Because call centers are horrendous. It doesn't matter what they say. And I did I think 18 months in call centers, and then the company that I was working for got bought out by another company, and because they were doing something horrendously dodgy, they paid us all a lot of hush money,
right,
to just stay quiet and disappear. And it was sort of enough money that I could do whatever I wanted for 6 months and kind of not really worry about it.
Yeah.
And I'd seen these guys at Covent Garden, and I'd always thought in the back of my head, oh, that would be great. I'll give that a try. And I did, and I just took to it like a duck to water.
Like it.
I ended up, working in London, Edinburgh, Dubai, all over the Middle East.
Is this just literally entertaining the public and taking money off the public?
Yeah, absolutely. You do a show, and at the end they come up and chuck a $5 or a $10 in the hat and say thank you, and that's brilliant,
Wow.
It was a great job. I suppose a great way of living your life, festivals. It opened up so many doors for me. I ended up on Blue Peter. That was probably the highlight.
Nice.
Of my career. And
so what years is this from then? When did you start, and what years is this from?
This is from probably about 2000 and 2021 now. I guess 2006, 2007.
Right, and then this is all the way up until 2018, is it, or
till 2020?
2020, when COVID come? Is that when you sort of started with the puppets, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because obviously, COVID hit, and then there was, I don't think you could even take a train up to London. I'm in Sussex, and I don't think you could even take a train up to London during that first lockdown. And there were no tourists because everything was shut, and so it was kind of a lot of street performers just kind of went, oh, you know what, it's just not happening. We just have to find something else. and I was sort of wasn't sure what something else was, and luckily I have a very understanding wife,
Yeah.
and she was like, "Oh, you can take some time and you can kind of work it out a bit." And someone that I'd met on a job in Dubai actually sent me a video of a puppet thing he was doing, and it just kind of he showed me the video and it hit me in the chest, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is it! It's puppets. I want to be doing puppets for I want to do marketing."
Yeah.
So that's what I do now. I make marketing videos with puppets. They're funny videos, but yeah, for marketing businesses. And that was properly, things started in November.
Yeah.
With On the Other Hand, which is the name of the business.
Is that November this year just gone? 6 months ago? Yeah.
Yeah, so I was working with the other guy for the first half of the kind of COVID thing.
Yeah.
And then we had some creative differences.
Yeah.
And we split, and then, so I'm on my own with the puppets now. And it's been this really cool thing, and the reaction on LinkedIn has been phenomenal. There are so many people who are just so into it and so engaged with it. It's been really, really mind blowing, because a couple of people that I told, first of all, were like, puppets on LinkedIn, that's never going to work. What are you doing?
It's attention, isn't it, though, at the end of the day? It's attention, and you're trading attention on LinkedIn, and that's all it's about. You're gathering attention. So you say you started with this guy. Were you already working with businesses doing this, and sort of did you learn how to approach a company there? Or like, how did it come about that you actually, fair enough, you can make an engaging video with puppets, but how do you approach a company and sell that idea to them and get them to invest in it, I guess?
Well, I mean, he was another performer, so also equally had no idea about business, really, and I think I still don't.
Yeah.
All the work that I've been getting has been kind of inbound, so people just messaging me saying, I've seen your videos, would you be interested in doing X, Y, and Z, or I've got this idea. And it's really lovely, because at the moment I'm very lucky that it's not people are coming to me with ideas rather than saying I want this, and it's a more collaborative process.
Yeah.
So the big thing that I've just started on is I'm going to be doing a parody of The Lion King with the stage show version with the puppets and costumes, and the whole thing's a bit mad.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of getting to do that more. And another one I've just finished is that I'm just about to start a second kind of series of is these ones with this Australian lawyer who's also uses Lego. We kind of have a couple of characters from that's coming through. It's kind of lots of stuff, and we're getting to develop this, and it's really nice kind of collaboratively working, I suppose, is what with these people. And I've also just finished a mascot, but I'm kind of pointing but we're recording a podcast, aren't we?
Yeah, no, it's fine, mate.
There's no visual here.
It'll be audio, mate. It's no worries.
Yeah.
We can share the visual as well. We're recording this as well. No, that's fine. Yeah, if you've got things there, we can show. Right. That's fine.
Well, this is Brushy.
So do you create these then as well?
Well, this is actually a mascot for a company called Wind Shuttle in America, and he's a keyboard brush. But that's kind of part of what I'm doing as well.
Yeah.
So some of these are my own ideas, and some people come with very specific ideas of kind of what they want and what things should look like. So this is obviously the Lego head.
Yeah.
That's appeared in videos. And
so when these companies approach you, like what is their objective? What is their aim? I suppose you're learning, like you said, within business, how companies can utilize you, are you, when they actually are working with you? Like, are you getting to know, like, what is their aim? What are they trying to do? Or is it simply just, let me raise some attention? Or are they adding other things to the video that sort of maybe promote a brand message or try to sell something? Or, you know, what is it that they're trying to do?
So my experience of it has been that they often don't know.
Yeah.
And they kind of come and they say, "Oh, we really like this idea, and we want to do something with you." And you kind of need to narrow it down. So a lot of the time, though, it is just about kind of trying to build a following and engage with people. I think that sometimes people have approached me and they've kind of been like, "Oh, we want the puppets to sell something," and that just doesn't work because any sort of sales message is just too, I think, kind of too strong, and it kind of plays too harsh against the puppets. Whereas brand building and brand awareness, that's where they come to life. You know, that's where they really, really work really well. So it's a mix, but like I say, it's the brand building.
No, I appreciate that because, like I say, I think a lot of people, they're still, when you're on social media, it's about attention at the end of the day, isn't it? And building your brand and building a personal brand. It's not about, I'm just going to sell you something with this message or with this video. It's a case of you build a relationship with somebody over time. They continuously see that content. They see that you're consistent. And, you know, that idea to work with a puppet for your business may indeed, you know, be developing. I've mentioned it to yourself and maybe using it for my company, but then it is a case of, well, I might be sat there in 3 months and something comes to my head and I'm like, boom, I need a puppet, and I get in touch. It's not just a case of, oh yeah, I found this puppet show, I'm going to use it today. You know, as you're continually putting content out there as well, I guess you're exploring the ways in which this is helping you. You know, I can see that all the videos are getting attention. Is that not it then? Do you not get some companies who come back on a regular basis and use the puppets in regards to the branding and there's like a little mascot, and, you know, can you see that becoming eventual sort of repeat work down the line? Because I know you're only sort of 6 months in. So is that the game really? Maybe making the puppets a brand figure and, you know, having something that goes long term?
Absolutely. And that is, I think that's part of the plan. We're still waiting for it to be confirmed, but that's going to happen with Brushy, the blue one back there. Is it does sort of become this, you know, not necessarily weekly, but, you know, every fortnight or every month, there's a new video with the same characters. So you really do build up this kind of rapport with the characters and through the characters, the brand. And it's kind of a bit reminiscent of, do you remember Monkey from the PG Tips?
Yeah.
Adverts.
Yeah.
I mean, it's exactly that. Or the Creature Comforts from British Gas is kind of the other one.
Definitely.
And it's really, I find it really funny because it just works so well with those companies and those kinds of brands that are either, I think, already a little bit quirky, or these brands that are traditionally seen as being quite stuffy and quite boring. There's this real opportunity to bring them to life, and to kind of make it something exciting and make it something just wonderful, really.
No, I like that, mate. And, you know, I know from experience in business myself, when you first get started, you'll go out there, you've got an idea, I'm going to make, you know, these puppet videos, and obviously it's evolving over time, and only since November, I'm imagining it's evolving by the month. So you'll find something with that. I mean, let's talk about that, mate. How has that been? Obviously, like you said that, you know, it's your first business. You were a street performer before this. So what are some of the challenges that you found when you first started, when you sort of went on your own and you had your creative differences with the guy?
I think the biggest thing for me, really, obstacle to kind of overcome is and I guess it's true for a lot of people, but it's just kind of working out that cash flow, and that I'm so used to, like, well, I need some money, right? I'll go do a street show. Okay, 40 minutes later, I got a load of cash.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, that's the best thing in the world.
Definitely.
Whereas now, I might spend 2 weeks putting together a puppet and a video and recording all the stuff, blah blah blah, and then it gets to the point of invoicing, and then I have to wait to be paid.
Yeah.
And it's this kind of like, oh, there's no instant gratification, and then it can even be, I don't even find out how the video is performed until it's been posted, which might be in a few months' time. So it's a really kind of weird thing to get used to. But I mean, it's just something you have to kind of work with and get used to, and
yeah, no, I appreciate that, mate. It's about sort of orientating yourself day to day as well, isn't it, I guess, and like, what should I focus on? And where did the first customer for you come from? Was it somebody you pulled from you when you were working with your other guy, or were it literally somebody approaching you on LinkedIn? What was that like, getting the first customer and really, working with them?
So the first customer I had was through LinkedIn, and it was just phenomenal. It was great. And he wanted a puppet, and he wanted it to look like himself, or like, a puppety version of himself.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what, this might be all right. This might just work. And kind of since then, it's slowly grown, and it's been a trickle. But getting that first customer, and also I think it was quite rewarding, because it was, okay, well, I don't need to do a hard sell.
Yeah.
I don't need to do whatever. I can still just be myself, and I can put these videos out. And I think I always knew that it was going to be tough. But yeah, getting that first customer, that just made,
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And also, with you getting the customer from doing the puppet videos, it sort of showcases that, look, this works. I'm built a brand around doing this already, and people are coming to me, so why would this not work for somebody else? And the customer that does come and, purchase this. But what was it like pricing yourself? And, did you underprice yourself and did you too much work? Or where have you found the balance with that?
It's such a weird one, because I think that first one I underpriced myself, which, and totally fine with that.
Yeah, you've got the portfolio, aren't you? You've got something else, haven't you? The tangible. I've got this. This is what I've done. There's something there, isn't there? Other than the money.
Yeah. So it's not. I don't regret that at all. But what's quite difficult, or not difficult, but what's a bit weird, is that if you go to the Jim Henson Creature Workshop, they will charge you $10,000 for a very basic puppet.
Yeah,
because that's what a Muppet costs. Whereas I don't think there's anyone that would buy a $10,000 puppet from me.
Yeah.
So it's kind of breaking it down and kind of working out what it was. But pricing is something that I still struggle with.
Yeah.
And I think what I would always rather do is underprice and over deliver.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, I get that. Especially until it's a case of you've got too much work coming in, and then maybe, you can sort of up the price. I mean, I struggle with it myself, mate. I'm only 15 months in at minute, one price point for the websites. People need different levels of service, so it's hard, isn't it? That's the reason I asked the question. I know when you first get started and you put your package up and you sell it, you want to get the job, and you're over servicing every customer. But yeah, I can see that it's evolving for you still, mate. Maybe we'll follow up another time and see how this does come along. But of course, still plenty to chat about, mate. What are your challenges then at the moment, as you have got started, you've got your first couple of customers, you've talked about the cash flow, but what about in regards to your branding and your marketing, and is there anything that you're doing outside of LinkedIn, or, you know, what's the plan in the 2 to 3 to 5 years? Are you going to maybe build the brand out, get a website, get an online presence in that regard, or what's the plans, mate?
Well, I have got a website, which is www.otoh.co.uk.
Right.
Which is it's a great website, and what I would like to do, and what I've kind of got planned at the moment, is some online courses. So the one that I'm working on at the moment is, if you maybe think that you like the idea of having a small series of videos to promote your brand, but you're not really sure where to start, I'm putting together this course that takes you through coming up with ideas and writing scripts and writing the jokes and kind of all that side of things, so you can plug away at yourself.
Yeah.
So it would be nice to set that up so it becomes a kind of a passive income stream.
Yeah.
And as well, it would. I'm kind of exploring as well the idea of doing more stuff around TV and film.
Yeah.
So as a model maker, a prop maker, and as well as just puppets.
Yeah.
Kind of that sort of diversity. But I really, at the moment, I just stick with LinkedIn. But I know that I need to get on Instagram and probably Facebook as well to spread the word.
No, yeah, I think you're in the perfect space with LinkedIn for what you're doing at the moment. And I suppose it's because I'm a website designer that, you know, I've sort of focused on that. But you've hit the nail on the head, really, mate, with your answer in regards to... sorry, I was just looking at your website as well. You know, like you say, it's engaging, it looks good. But it's good that you're working with these companies at the minute. You're also thinking about your skills and how they appeal to a wider market, aren't you? And it's not, you've not sort of tied yourself down saying, look, this is the only thing I'm going to do, these videos. So you've got the TV and film, you've got other avenues in which you can sort of utilize these skills. So yeah, I like it. So how do you focus your attention on that then, mate? How do you, you know, focus on surviving at the moment, getting the work, completing the work for the customers you've already got, and of course then putting time into other creative things, such as maybe approaching people to create props for TV shows? How do you split your time up and your attention?
Sort of poorly.
Yeah,
I think is the, the answer.
No,
to
mate,
that.
I appreciate that.
I think it's one thing that I'm really bad at is I do get sucked into one project, and then kind of I'll get maybe 90% of the way through it, and then I think, oh God, what's next?
Yeah.
How is this? What am I doing with myself afterwards? So it is something that I need to do, and one thing I'm planning to start doing that has worked for me in the past very well is just timetabling my day.
Yeah.
And kind of breaking stuff down like hour by hour throughout the day. Say, okay, hour on social media, okay, hour on building whatever it is I'm building, hour on writing scripts, hour on this, on that, and that. Because I'm at the moment I'm getting stuff done, but kind of by the skin of my teeth, sort of.
No, yeah, it's I suppose when you're an entertainer, when you're a creative type, I'm the same. I'm not a street performer, but I'm not a logistical accountant guy. I'm an entrepreneurial. I'm all over the place, and it can be hard, can't it, mate, to turn that switch and be like, right, this is the 3 hours I've got to put in to do this and focus on my business and, building this little thing that I need to do in order to approach this thing. You're like, no, I want to go outside and, skate about, and you know what I mean? So I can appreciate that one.
Yeah.
So as you're thinking about these courses then, mate, let's think about that, because I think that's a great idea. how are you sort of going to differentiate yourself, and what is it that you think that you can do for these companies that's going to sort of is it companies or is it personal brands? Like, what are you looking to do with these courses that is it say that you're going to develop and maybe sell to people, and that's going to create then a passive income stream? Is that going to be a case of maybe you write a book, maybe you write a full course that's accessible online, it's a webinar? I mean, have you put much thought into that at the moment, or is it just simply an abstract thing that you're sort of looking at in the future?
Well, I've with that course I mentioned, I've put it together as a PowerPoint presentation. So now it's a PDF document, I think.
Yeah.
And what I want to do is set up some, or I need to record some kind of companion videos to it. So you go onto the website and you'll download the ebook, and then you've also got these videos of me kind of explaining it a little bit more and talking through it. So that'd be the package, as it were. But yeah, I think that's where because I just think it'd be really nice to have this passive income slowly kind of dripping in, and you don't have to do anything else for it once it's up and running. And I've got some other ideas. It would be nice to do like how to make puppets one, because I know that there are parents out there who want to be doing stuff with their kids, and actually put up a video a few months ago about how to make a simple box puppet with your kid, and that got a really good response. And I think that's I know a lot of people are sort of like, they talk about sticking in a niche and whatever, but I sort of disagree with that. And I think you can do lots of different bits, and I think, like I say, as an entrepreneur and as a one-man band, I think you've got to be doing lots of different bits, and kind of position yourself in lots of different ways. It's because it's difficult to make an income from just one thing. You need to have a few like low-level ones to.
No, yeah, I appreciate that, and I think the coronavirus has taught a lot of us that, hasn't it? Because if we were focused on one thing and earning like you was, obviously you've had to completely change your strategy, haven't you? Because you didn't have any other things that were paying you, and it sort of dried up because you couldn't go out and perform. So yeah, I completely appreciate that, mate. And I think people are probably wrong, particularly with what you're doing, because you're engaging people, you're building a brand, and when you talk about the attention economy and converting that attention and monetizing it into cash, like you said, there's multiple ways you can do it. You want multiple streams, don't you? Right, I can work with you as a business, but also come and buy this book on how to make puppets, and I've got a YouTube playlist on how to make a puppet, all for children, and children's books on Why not?
Yeah.
So, I appreciate that. So. You said that you were doing some courses as well, mate, did you? Or did you say you were just simply creating these courses? I suppose what I'm trying to get at is, how are you now sort of, what have you got to learn? What have you found that you've had to learn to sort of survive in business? You've talked about the cash flow, but again, there's so many other things just in regards to maybe organising your time, or again, thinking about creating content and the long-term plans. So what have you had to do? How have you had to adapt? What skills have you got to learn? One thing I've just come to mind is the videos. So you've gone from obviously street performing to having to create these videos, and how has that experience been, sort of learning yourself new skills, and what have you had to learn, mate, I guess?
I think really I've kind of had to learn almost everything, because it's the main difference for me between performing to a live audience and putting together a video is that when someone's watching a video, you're not there. So you've got no idea how engaging that is, or if it translates properly, or how you're coming across that person. Whereas when it's a live performance, that if people aren't clapping, or they're not laughing, or whatever, they're not having a good time. But you can change that. You can control that. And video is very different because they're isolated. So instead you're creating these, and it sounds ridiculous, but you're creating these pictures, you're creating these images, and it's watching it back and going, does that, to my sensibilities, does that look right? So you're going, is it sat square? So there's like, I spent ages looking it up online and watching videos and whatever else. But there's this rule of kind of thirds that movies and TV use.
Yeah.
And am I shots properly like that? Am I obeying the kind of 180 degree rule? Am I doing all this stuff? And then I had to learn the editing software, which was, I love editing now.
Yeah.
But that was just an absolute nightmare to learn. But I love it now. So as well as the business thing, and I think from a business point of view, one of the biggest things that I had to learn was that it's okay to follow up with people.
Yeah.
It's okay to say, in 2 weeks or whatever, you just say, "Oh, Steve, just wanted to check in. How things going?" And that was kind of a big switch in my head that I had to make. Just the idea that this personal engagement, you do just have to constantly be kind of monitoring this web of connections and networks, and just saying, how's it going, and just trying to create those conversations out of nothing sometimes.
No, yeah, definitely. That's one of the biggest mistakes as salesmen, I think. They don't follow up enough. It takes about 7 follow-ups for me to close a website deal. It takes about four months to message somebody every 2 weeks for, it's like 14 weeks. So, yeah, I appreciate that, mate. It's hard, isn't it, putting yourself out there and sort of, But I like the contrast between the live performance and then you sat at home. You've got to create a video, put it out there. Of course, you get a feel for it once you have put it out there, but still, you'll be criticising yourself and picking it apart, and I can only imagine. So yeah, I like that, the contrast between the live performance, what you were doing before, and then now it's not just learning about the business side, is it? Because before, like you say, you could run outside. You haven't got to. You're not marketing. You're not selling. You're not branding yourself, are you? You're like, just let me get on this bike. Yeah. Let me make somebody laugh, and hopefully they all give me a $5 each, and I'll go off and live my day. Which is, it's great, but there's a massive contrast there, mate, and I like that. So yeah, let's delve into that a little bit more, matey. I guess, like, I suppose what I'm trying to get to is, when I come into business, it were a case of, I do this course, I do this digital marketing course, I read this book, I read this, that. Is the out that you've had to go out, and I know you said the editing software, and you said that you've learnt the editing now. And I suppose, is that going to help you, mate? Because you're saying that this rule's a third, and you're talking about how you are on video, you're talking about editing the video, you've talked about now moving into TV, and obviously thinking about writing scripts and going back to the core of things, I guess, because, as an entertainer, you want to be entertaining people, and if you can create a TV show and entertain millions, because I suppose that's much more satisfying than just having a couple of people. So has this been a good experience, do you think, mate? Getting online and learning these skills and thinking about this and sort of maybe taking a step back and having this break?
It's been absolutely wonderful. And I mean, the pandemic has been horrendous, and obviously thousands of, or hundreds of thousands of people have died and whatever else. But from a career point of view, it's been amazing, and to have the opportunity to learn all this stuff and kind of just expand my knowledge base. And I think I've really enjoyed it. The way that I learn best is just by doing stuff, just by kind of working it out for myself, and so that's where a lot of it's come from as well. So I'm just constantly learning, constantly upgrading my skills, trying to build better puppets, write funnier scripts, shoot better videos. It's constant kind of exciting cycle. And I think one thing that I learned doing live, a friend of mine gave me this tip, and it's just phenomenal. He said, after each time you perform, you keep a notebook and just write the time and the date and weather conditions or whatever else, but then write down like 3 things that didn't work and then 3 things that did work, and kind of create this loop for your own work. So you're constantly going, okay, what one thing am I going to change next time to improve it? And it's those little tiny steps that eventually lead up to me wonderful things. And so when I look back at the very first videos that I did, as opposed to the videos that I'm doing now, it's so different.
Have you used that same technique as well, where you're jotting stuff down, things you thought worked, things that didn't work, and taking them away from the videos? Or is it just a case? So it's that same technique.
Exactly.
I like that.
And it's the as well with the quality of the puppets, and even down to like the materials that I'm using, I've upgraded, and again the equipment that I use, I've upgraded and mucked about with, and just everything. But I've enjoyed that so much. It's everything is kind of new, and I'm really trying to push myself just to create better, funnier videos, more kind of aesthetically pleasing puppets, but that are also in getting to explore kind of different styles of humor, different styles of puppets. There's so much to learn, and I'm enjoying it so much. It's
like you say, you're learning, aren't you? Every time you put something out, you get 20 likes on this one, you get 60 likes on this one. This has got more comments. So you're seeing it, aren't you? And I like it, mate. I like the evolution. This is what it's about. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, does it? Even if this doesn't work out, you've learnt enough to create something else, and it's still been worth doing just from the skills that you've created, because now you've took a step back, you're thinking at another level. So the live performing, mate, we are open. I know you said you're not bothered about going out now, and I suppose when you've travelled the world and you've already done that since being young, it might be, like it's time to settle down. But can you see yourself maybe going back out there onto the street, and is there any plans to do that in the near future?
No, I will be performing live again, but I think the kind of the street aspect for me is over. I think the time it will take for that lifestyle to recover will be a lot longer than the time we're in lockdown, because it's so reliant on tourists coming to London,
right?
And I think we're currently so far ahead of the world in terms of vaccines and whatever else, and I think it's going to take a long time for tourism to properly open up again.
So it's a case of going all in on this, getting the videos out there. So you say you're working on a couple at the moment, mate. I mean, if I were to approach you and say, right, I want a puppet doing, and I don't know what I want. But I like the idea, and I run a website design agency. Where do we go from there? What is the process that you take when somebody phones you up, and really they don't know what they want, like you said, like a lot of people don't. What would the process be, mate, when I phone you, when I sort of give you that, let's go, I want a video, but I ain't got a clue what I want to do?
Okay, well, the first step would be it's just kind of on the phone call, it's just coming up with an idea. It's an idea that grabs me, an idea that grabs you. And so what I'd start doing is just asking you lots of questions about your business. So sort of saying, so where's the video going to go? Is it for social media, or is it to be on your website? Where do you want it to sit? because obviously the two are very different. So if a video is on your website, you might want it 1 to 2 minutes long, maybe even slightly longer, because people on your website, they've got time to watch.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's social media, you might want it for TikTok or Instagram or whatever, like a 30 seconds, minute at most. LinkedIn, like a minute is, I found to be sort of the best length.
Yeah.
So once we've got that, and then see if there's something about your business or the name of your business that we could use, that we could kind of pull apart and turn into a puppet. So there's one that I made a while ago for a company called The Scrawny Goat. So I made this goat puppet.
Yeah.
And that's pretty easy,
Yeah.
Or if there's kind of nothing in the name, it could be a puppet that looks like you, because that's always fun. And so it's really just trying to find something that the person on the other side of the phone is excited about and thinks is a fun idea, because that's where it comes alive. It's when it's fun. And then once we've got kind of found that kind of core idea, we'd have a chat around sort of the visual aspect of it. So if if we were making a puppet out of you, well, not out of you, but of you, should we say, we might say, okay, well, like, what kind of T-shirt should you be wearing? Or do you want the headphones on? Do you so get this? And then I would go away and I'd work up a couple of sketches, and we do a few variations and see what we can kind of come up with that we're both really happy with. And then once that's been signed off, I'd go away and make the puppet. And one thing that I love to do, because it's something that I love to see too, is the kind of the making of. So I always like to send out loads of pictures of me making it and the bits coming together, so you can see that. And again, that in itself is like great content for LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever. And then once we've got the puppet, we would then talk about the script and the kind of how we wanted the video to go. So some people want to be in the videos, some people just want their voice in the videos, some people kind of don't want anything to do with the videos at all. And so it's kind of finding out what you want and then creating a hook within the video. So what do we want the video to do? Do you want people to follow you? Do you want them to try and connect with you? Or is it just to raise awareness of your website? Or, you know what I mean? We kind of
definitely
work that in.
And
then just make sure it's funny. So I just write.
Oh yeah, I like it. So I could do one
for it.
Could do one for the podcast. Maybe take a clip from something that I've said somewhere and just have a little puppet, me saying something stupid that I've said on one of my podcasts last month. So I like it, mate, because basically I did one last month on it's called The Attention Economy, and I've just been reading a lot about the attention economy, a phrase coined like in 1997 when we first started working with data. And it's intriguing because as we've had this conversation, I'm looking at you, and before COVID, you're in the material world, aren't you? Entertaining people face to face. And, 18 months later, 12 months later, whatever it is, you can't see yourself ever going and doing that again. And you've built a business that you wouldn't have been able to create this business 20 years ago. It's impossible. So you're building business around the attention economy. That is simply it. Because like you said, there's no sales message. There's no direct. You're building attention for a customer, for your customers. And people are just trading attention online. So it's I like it because all month this is what I've been, in April, this is what I've been looking into and trying to focus on in the podcast. So I like the fact that basically your entire business model is based around this. You are a business that is based upon this new economy that's emerging at the moment. And it's interesting, mate, how you've gone from, like you say, you're You won't have envisioned this, would you? 2 years ago.
No, not even close. Not even close.
And I like how you said earlier, like you hated editing when you first started doing it with the videos, but now you love it. So like, how has that evolved, mate? Is it just sort of, at first you didn't know a lot and it was just a struggle and you didn't really know what you were doing, to now, what is it? You sort of, you can see the story within the thing, or how you're putting clips together and how it's going to come out at the end. Is that it, or where's the love of that come from?
I think what it is when I started editing, I just had no idea. So what I would do is I would shoot everything in one kind of block, and I would cut off the beginning, where I'm fumbling with the camera.
Yeah.
And I'd cut off the end where I'm fumbling to turn off the camera.
Yeah.
And that was it. And then I was like, that's the video. Whereas now, I switch between different shots, and I know so what I'll often do is I just look at the audio file, and I'm like, right, okay, so to trim this down as best I can, as tight as I can, and just slice it here and slice it here and slot this bit there and that bit there. Brilliant. And if I whack on this effect, and then it will do this. If I can do that, that's brilliant. And I'll slow that bit down to kind of elongate that, and okay, a little bit of silence there, and tweak the audio here. And it's like making a cake.
Yeah.
You know, you're taking all these raw ingredients, all these chunky, weird clips, and then you're chopping them all up, mixing them all up, and then at the end it's got something completely different. So my wife will sit in the room whilst I'm recording, doing the takes and whatever else, and she'll sit and she'll go, oh, that's not funny.
I like that.
And then she'll watch the video and she'll laugh.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's that.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. You sort of, she's watching one little take, and then you're like, oh, get up, and then you show it full video, and she's like, oh, I get it now. So in your head, you can already conceptualize it, can't you? And you're thinking, right. And then it's seeing it all come together, and it's a new thought. This is a new art form, isn't it, for you as well? You're sort of taking everything that you've done before entertaining people and all that, and you're learning how to present that to an audience, but also the challenge, I think, is for you to present that for a business to their audience in a way that portrays them. And I suppose when I talk about, I don't want to put words in your mouth, of course, but when I talk about the challenges and all that, I'm imagining that your biggest challenge is getting to people to see the value in what you do, isn't it? It's getting to people to see the value in having what can this video do for me long term?
Yeah, and I think one thing, probably going back to the attention economy, but is that a lot of businesses or people within businesses don't see the value in something that doesn't have a number attached. So I can't say, well, people will watch the video and then they'll buy your product, and it will be worth 3 times your income or whatever. It's not that. It's building this. It's building brand recognition. It's creating things that people will talk about.
Yeah.
I see
content. It's content marketing
section.
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It's an hard sell, mate. I mean, working in digital marketing myself, like you said, people want immediate results. They'll buy a £30 a month website from me, and they'll be selling a £20,000, garden studio product, and they'll be texting me after 4 months like, oh, I've not sold out through the website. It's like, well, have you been advertising it? How much have you spent advertising this site? You've paid me £30 a month for 4 months, and you're selling a £20,000 product. It's like, yeah, okay. But it's very hard to sell a service like yours because, like you said, there's no immediate there's no immediacy to it. So if you're selling somebody pay-per-click ads and you're getting them into a website, sending them to a landing page, they're buying something, they spend £200 on the ads, but they sell £1,000 worth of products. You've got, right, I can spend £1,000 and sell £5,000. But with you, it's like, wait, if you give me, whatever your number is, if you give me £1,000, I'll work with you for so-and-so, this is what you get, I make this puppet, we'll have X amount of videos, well, this is when you post them. You'll be like, and? Like, what is that going to get me? If you're sat in the boardroom and but
Yeah.
Who is your target audience then, mate? It's not big companies, is it? Is it small personal brands, people like myself? Is it people who are, like, who is it?
It is people like you. So yeah, smaller businesses, but also it's businesses that have a brand, that already have a brand, and you want to build that brand. You want to show your customers something else, and you want to engage with them more. So there's what I would really, really love to work with would be like a real ale producer.
Yeah.
Because all their beers have got fantastic names. And I could do something amazing with Hobgoblin.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal. Or I can't think of any others at the moment, but that just lends itself to it really well. And a lot of kind of food manufacturers as well that have these brands with animals in or characters, stuff like that. Just absolutely love to bring those brands to life.
Yeah.
And that's
because it's a unique skill, isn't it? The puppets, but also considering the fact that you have been an entertainer and you see what works with people face to face for so many years. There's a bit more to it, isn't there? It's not just, I create a puppet for you. It's like, no, I've got this comedic experience. It's writing the punchlines, it's writing the jokes. That's an hard job within itself, isn't it? So, yeah, you can see how that's a challenge for you, mate, to market that. But again, it's a LinkedIn, isn't it? And it's doing it for yourself and the videos that you're doing for yourself. So how do you come up with those ideas, mate, just for yourself to continue that? Is it a storyline that you continue all the time?
It's a weird thing. So every Friday I try to put out a video, and that originally the idea behind that was that it's like, what happens in my office? Like, what happens in the on the other hand office? Because obviously I'd have puppets working here. So how, what does that work? And so first of all, we were just kind of, it was me and the puppets trying to work out how business works. And then we went looking for a niche to try and find a niche, because everyone was saying you need a niche.
Yeah.
And eventually we found a niche, and the niche was its own puppet. We had a puppet that was a niche. And there's the whole video where we find the niche is a really weird one, because the niche is I don't know where he is actually, but is covered in fur, like black, yellow, and red fur, and got like crazy eyes, and he dances to Tom Jones in it, and it all goes super weird. And then I said we would do a series, because I was kind of like, then I was pitching single videos, and then I thought, you know what, really it needs to be a series of videos that we're pitching.
Yeah.
So we filmed Just a Minute with Phil, and Phil would interview people, but in this series, nothing will go right, and he never actually managed to interview anyone. Either his introduction was too long, or there were technical problems. And then in the penultimate one, he gets abducted, and it goes. So we had to use another puppet called Serco, and Serco's a little nutcase, and so it went from being Just a Minute with Phil to Sometime with Serco, and he threatened the guest, and it was all got really messy. And So there is a kind of a storyline, but it's a mad storyline. It's a bit like watching a Spanish soap opera
Yeah.
that's been translated into Chinese and then back into Swahili and then English. It's complete madness. But those ideas are all. What happens is it gets to Thursday night, and I'm lying in bed thinking, "Oh my god, I need to get up and film something tomorrow."
Yeah.
What can I possibly do? What can I possibly film? What's going to be funny? They all start with in the process. There's always a joke, so I always come up with a joke first,
Yeah.
and then try and kind of work it back. And the one last week was Phil and Serco are standing by this pint of water, and they're kind of just having some office chit chat. And I come in and say, "Guys, what's going on?" They're like, "Oh, we're just having a chat by the glass of water." It's like, "Why have you got a glass of water?" Well, because the boss won't pay for a water cooler. And so it was like, and that kind of idea came from the fact that I started thinking, I want this to be, or someone had said LinkedIn is like a water cooler in the office.
Yeah.
Where people come and chit chat. And so the water cooler thing just stuck in my head, and I was like, okay, so what would you do if you didn't have a water cooler? Would you just chat by some water? Is the water element
Nice.
important?
I like that. Yeah, I like that.
Let's kind of explore that. And it's so often the ideas come from that. It'll be something that someone else has said that just sits in my head, and I just kind of find myself kind of turning it over and tumbling it around, and then you're like, oh yeah, I know how that becomes a joke.
Do you like do you feel as though you need them deadlines in yourself? Like, oh, I'm going to release one every Friday, and then it gets to Friday, you don't know what you're going to do, but then it's like, right, yeah, let's go. Thursday night, it comes to your head. You wake up Friday morning and you do it. Is that how do you need them deadlines to be there, and then eventually, boom, I've got to act? Is that how you work? Because I'm like that, I think.
I wish I could say no, but yeah, that is exactly how I am. And I think as well, I do need the run up time. I need the run up time to kind of collect enough kind of other bits of information.
It's like an incubation process, isn't it? In your mind.
Yeah. So if I know I've got a week, I'll take 6 days to just gather that research, collect that information, and then by the 7th day, that's when it just works and just goes straight in. Yeah. So what I have to do when I have a client is set myself lots of like mini deadlines.
Yeah.
Within the kind of overall time frame that I've given them.
So how long do you generally work with somebody to create it? I know you say, you're hoping for them to be long term. What have they generally been in the past? Has it been a couple of videos, one video? How long do you work for them? With them?
The Australian lawyer, the Lego head guy,
yeah,
he's just signed up for another kind of short series of 4 videos, and before that he did 3 videos. And so at the moment it seems to be 3 or 4 videos that's what people are kind of interested in. But really I think it needs to be 6. At least 6 I think is a good starting point, because I always think you'd kind of want to drop one a week. And so you kind of would need a 6 weeks for people to kind of properly understand that it's not just a one-off video.
Yeah.
I think part of the right way of using video in marketing is just letting people know that it's not a one-off. So if they like your content, there's nothing worse than finding a video on YouTube that you really like, and you find out that person's only put out 1 video.
Yeah.
You want to be, or if you're like me at least, you find something wonderful and you're like, oh, I just want as much of this as possible. So that's why if you can have a series and they're marked as a series, you get this. You want to send someone down a little rabbit hole of your content, and I think video can be a great way of doing that. And not enough people do that. And it really bugs me. It should be episode 1, and then that it's a series. It should be episode 2 or 4 or whatever, so that people are then looking for the whole thing, because you want to take them through that journey kind of at their own speed.
No,
but
definitely.
their own speed should be just consecutively watching your videos.
Rather than, like you said, there's no worse than you post something every week for 4 weeks and you disappear for 3 months. It's kind of like my LinkedIn strategy. Like, it don't work. I mean, I like how you sort of thinking, mate, in regards to the, it needs to be a series. It needs to be something consistent. If I'm going to create you a puppet, this can become part of your brand and we can use it for many different ways. What about repurposing this content? Once they've got it created, do they just post it once on LinkedIn and then forget about it? Or do people get stuff that they can repost and repurpose and, that's how I'd like to post something and then maybe be able to post it again in 3 months and hit them with the same thing.
I see. I think you absolutely can. And I think the beautiful thing about puppets and getting a video made is that if you go to one of the GIF makers on the interwebs, you've got your own GIF that you can then drop in comments and you can do all this stuff. And like, why would you not want that? So this is an amazing visual thing that you can just drop everywhere. And it's not just a picture of you, or it's not the grumpy cat or whatever, but it's part of your own brand, and you repurpose it in that way and use the screenshots and the screen grabs and even if you got any skill with editing, you could even cut your own little highlight reel from it.
I mean, definitely.
I think this is the content that keeps on giving, because it's so evergreen as well. Whereas if you do a talking head video, if you put a GIF of yourself in the comment section somewhere, you look a bit of a
narcissist.
So it's
it's like
you
can be a subtle narcissist, can't you, by having a puppet done of yourself?
Yeah, exactly.
I like that. I can hide behind it. I will probably get something done, mate, to be fair. Now I'm thinking about it. At some point this year. Definitely. It's good. It's unique. And I know I mentioned the attention economy earlier. Is that something that you've studied at all? So I know you've just mentioned that sort of evergreen content. Where's that from, mate? Are you studying content marketing, or what are you studying in regards to like digital branding and that? Because I can see your acumen, your business acumen is increasing.
I spend a ridiculous amount of time on LinkedIn, and it all just collects in there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And what I always think is really funny is you get these people that really strongly believe in content marketing, and so do give away all this stuff and all this information, and I think they're right to some extent, but as well, you just think, well, what's the point in paying you? If you're just giving it all away. But
like you said earlier, though, mate, you're learning, aren't you, through the practical. You're on LinkedIn, you're engaging with people, you're seeing what they're doing, you're also seeing what works for you, So are you sort of maybe the ultimate testing grounds for your customers? Is that how you use your LinkedIn profile, is it?
Yeah, I think it is really. You cruise onto my profile and you have a look and you see what I'm building and you see what I'm putting together for other people, and as well you just look in the comment section on the videos and you see the kind of engagement that they do get, and
Yeah.
as well you see the fans that the puppets have built up. You know, they've
Yeah, I
Circo's
like that.
Circo's even got merchandise.
This is it though, mate. Is that not the game for you at the minute? You seem to be building a strong personal brand. Is it not the game to be right? Yeah, I've got otooh.co.uk, but I've also got what's it called, Celio the puppet,
Circo.
Circo
Yeah.
the puppet,
It not intentionally. That was never my intention, but that is exactly what's happened.
right? So you've
Um,
already got some merchandise. Where can I find that?
that is on. There's normally a link underneath the videos.
I'll put
Um,
I'll put a link on my YouTube, and I'll put a link on this video when I put it online.
Thank you very much. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I'll have a look.
I appreciate that. Yeah, and it's just it's such a weird and wonderful thing.
No,
But
yeah, I
my
like it, mate.
yeah,
So moving forward, then, and I suppose to end, what are your current challenges, mate? If somebody were to approach you at the moment to try and sell you something, how can they best approach you? And what is it that you may be in the market for, or is there anything that you can think of right now that you don't know that you're in the market for that you may be? I mean, are you only on LinkedIn? What about YouTube and all this, mate? Are you gonna become more omnipresent and get on these platforms, or?
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to become more present on other platforms, Instagram especially, and I think YouTube. I feel like with YouTube, I need to put together a big kind of content plan first, and kind of work that all out a little bit more. I tried LinkedIn earlier on last year and kind of wasn't really sure. So just needs more time and space. But if you want to contact me, a direct message on LinkedIn is best, or through the website,
Yeah.
www.otoh.co.uk.
Yeah, no, that's
Um,
perfect.
yeah, I'm not. Yeah, new foam supplier would be lovely.
No,
I
yeah,
don't
no,
know.
I can appreciate that, mate. Yeah, I think I've got some material to send you over that I've been reading that I think you will relate to. Just in regards to this attention economy and um, how it's been identified. They call them the intangibles. How to create a business basically around this new economy, and basically the struggle is for anybody creating something that cannot be replicated, because I could create ot.co.uk and
Mm.
start making puppets today, but I can't recreate what you've got because you've got a brand, you've got the following, and you're sort of building on these intangibles, and I can see it. So yeah, I'll stay in touch, mate. Definitely, I'll stay in touch.
Yeah,
I think I'm gonna get a puppet show done towards the end of the year. It'll be though, most likely. Just get the cash flow right and whatnot, and get some ideas together, of course. But I'll stay in touch with you, mate, and maybe we can catch up at a later date and see how the business has evolved, and see where you are at that point. And I much appreciate your time.
yeah, no problem at all. Yeah, I'd be very happy to have a catch up. And yeah, when you get things sorted, give me a shout, and we'll definitely sort something out for you. No problem.
Brilliant, Tom. Well, thanks a lot. So, thanks a lot again, mate. And yeah, I'll stay in touch, and I'll be in touch with the video and the audio, and let you know when it's all uploaded, mate.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
All
Thanks
right,
for
then,
having me
Tom.
on.
No, thanks for your time. All the best, mate. Have a good day.
Cheers. Take care.
See you
Cheers.
later,
Bye.
mate. Bye, bye, bye.